Hello and welcome to another episode of Kerbal Space Program. And the first thing I'm going to see is if we have any upgrades. We do. I'm going to give myself one more research. So this gives us certain science per amount of build points. This is why we're getting science by even by building ships. Then I'm going to give myself a couple more build points here. So this allows us to build ships faster. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and see... Test universal storage. Now, I think we've had this before. And I couldn't figure out how to actually test it. So I think we're not going to bother doing that. Okay, so this contract we should be able to get explore the moon, science data from space around Kerbal, maybe this test TA-18 decoupler orbiting Kerbal. Which one is that? I want to say that's one that we didn't... Oh, that was that big one, wasn't it? It was this. We might be able to do that. If... Yeah, we'll see. Okay. So... First thing. This needs to return. So... let's see. Let's put some solar panels on here. Actually putting 4 thermometers on here is not a bad idea, I guess. Because we're probably going to need one high from Kerbal orbit, right? And we're going to want one high over the moon, low over the moon. And then if we land somewhere that we haven't gotten a temperature from, we would want that as well. Let's put this here. Oh, where's structural? So I think for the universal storage stuff, so we're gonna need material bays for high and low over the moon, right? We're going to need GU units for high and low over the moon. Actually, this wouldn't be a bad place to put batteries either. Like, we have the mapping camera that we couldn't really figure out. Put a couple more parachutes on this, I think. All right. So this will be the thing that we land with. Actually, what is this going to be called? Is Yamoja the... The moon? Yes. So this would be Yamoja 2. I'll go ahead and save that. Okay. So now I need to get my Delta V map. Okay. So to get from Kerbal orbit to lunar orbit, it's about 1170 Delta V. I'm assuming it's going to be kind of that much to get back. So 14. So I probably want to build this upper stage with about 2,000 Delta V, I think. Let's put a decoupler on here. Whoop. So, like, twice that much, basically. I'm wondering... Do we have... I think we do. Oh, I probably shouldn't have gotten rid of that decoupler. I'm just kind of doing this to see how much Delta V this actually gives us. Now the Poodle... Yeah, it's a space. Oh, it actually needs the bigger tanks. we not have a space rocket for... There's... That's too small. That's too big. We need like the 1 point... It's not the skipper. Ah. I wonder if it's... Do we not have... Because we have the 1.85 for this, which is like the launch version. We don't really have the space size for this tank. That's interesting. Do we even have tanks of that size? I guess we do. Maybe. Do we? Yes. Kind of. Oh yeah, we do. I think. Yeah, see, that gets us way more Delta V than we need. I like that look. Like, even that's basically enough. That's a it's a weird looking ship. Let's see if we can't use the other. Like, this is definitely a space engine. I mean, maybe that is supposed to be used for this. I don't know. That's, again, a bit too much Delta V. I think. I mean, this would probably be more than enough, really. What's going on here? Okay. Are the fairings not under aerodynamics? That's interesting. We do have a fairing for this size. That's really bizarre. No. I really don't like that. I really don't. Why don't we have an engine that's the right size? I don't understand. I mean, I guess we just haven't unlocked that node yet. But it makes building this really annoying because... if I use the smaller engines... like, that's obviously not enough, delta V. Do we have... I mean, unless we... because this would basically be enough delta V to maybe get us into and out of orbit of the moon, but not to get us to the moon. So we could either do that in another stage, maybe that's what we do. We just put this whole thing in a fairing. That's still only about 1,000. Oh, this is still only about 1,000. Oh, right, because that was kind of the whole point. Oh, those are really huge. We need like SAS at some point here, right? Probably. Like, the SAS on this is probably enough to be able to turn this. But I kind of want an SAS thing, like, here. To be able to turn this whole big thing. And actually, this would give us an opportunity to use this big old decoupler. Oh, that's actually... Oh, that's that size decoupler. Really? Well, I was hoping to maybe use this as the because we still have the contract to test this in orbit around Kerbal. And I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that we can do that here. Maybe? Like if I just put a redundant, like do something like that? Like this serves no purpose, really? Because we have the decoupler here. But we should be able to decouple this, like, while still technically in orbit around Kerbal, I think. And if not, then, oh well, I guess. Okay. And now this is going to be our actual launch craft. Which doesn't need to be like super. This does need to have enough TWR to launch, which it barely has right now. Maybe I'll use these studs again, because they were actually pretty nice to use before. I kind of want to even throw on even more Delta V here. I kind of want to get up to at least 3,000 on this bottom stage. This middle stage is going to be able to do a lot of the get into orbit work itself. There we go. Whoops. Those studs actually don't have enough TWR. Not by a long shot. I might need both. I might need all of these engines on it, actually. That actually still doesn't give it enough. Am I gonna need SRBs on this? Maybe. Now, before I actually do that, let's actually make sure. Because I didn't actually think about checking this. Let's make sure these engines are actually all firing. Okay, we actually do have the TWR for that now. What are the different... I guess it doesn't really... Guess I can move this fairing down wherever we need it. This should be, should be enough. Should. So we would get this contract. We would get this contract. We would get... Oh, this contract has to be between a certain altitude. Okay. That complicates that a bit. We might still be able to pull that off. Because if we do this burn to get into a lunar encounter, we might still be able to dump this stage. That's a little lower than what I wanted, but I mean, I don't really want to do a rocket just to do this, but if I have to, I will. Alright. Okay, let's make sure all of these... Okay, yes. Yes, yes. Then we have this decouple, this fire, this decouple, this decouple. I don't really care about the fairing per se. Actually, the fairing is probably gonna be here. So after this engine engages, but before we release that decoupler. And this engine, that decoupler, parachutes. Okay. Did I already send this to build? I can't remember. I can't remember if I actually pressed the launch button or not. I don't want to build two of these. Yes, I did. Okay, so I'm going to have to remember to change that staging later. All right. Time for the light show. So we have 5.7 now, science now. Now, I don't know if we get the science from build points. I assume we get this once it's complete. Yeah, so we now have 20 science. Nothing to get with, buy anything with, but... we got 14 plus science from building that. All right. Let us see how this goes. I didn't put engineer on this, did I? God damn it. Well, good thing. Now, if I recover this to VAB, what does that do? Okay, vessel recovery. Like, we're bringing it back to the VAB just to put Kerbal Engineer on it. Okay, so it's at the VAB now. So if I go in here and edit. Okay. Save edits. So that takes 15 minutes. And then we can roll it out again. Okay. Oh, I keep forgetting. Oh, and of course it's nighttime again. Okay, so that's good to know that that's how that works. The recover to VAB, it just rolls it back to the VAB, which I guess makes sense. But all right. Let's go, I guess. You know what? I keep forgetting. I should do that like every episode when I launch or something, just to get a picture of the rocket that's clean. I don't think I did that last episode. Some wobble on this thing. I like how the total delta V is going up because we're getting out of the atmosphere. I do actually need to kind of start tilting over a bit more here because our apoapsis is actually getting kind of high. Okay. Come on. Fine. Bruh. Why is it doing this? I don't... What? Fine. I should have actually already started burning this. Yeah, we still need to go. We still need to go burning. Okay, we're actually... We're in the atmosphere, but we should be able to get out here. This is kind of a really weird... That maneuver node that I was trying to do messing up didn't really help. Let me wait until I'm out of the atmosphere before... doing another maneuver node so I know exactly what my orbit is. Okay. Let's, bust the fairings. This is actually not very good because we're going to be above our target altitude. For that decoupler. So we could wait until the moon kind of goes around so we're at... That would frankly be probably the most efficient way of doing this. Actually, let's just turn the thrust limiter down a shit ton here because we're not going to need much. All right. So now, what we would need is the moon to basically get up here. Oh, I wonder if that was my, that's probably the launch pad getting... Okay. Oh, we're a bit past what we probably should be at, but... So we need to be, what, within, was it 60? I'm gonna put us within, like, 50 here. So this way we're already going to be extending the part of the orbit that's farthest out anyway. Now why? Oh, our burn time's so high because our thrust limiter is off or down. That's pretty good. Now I just want to quickly make sure that this is... Yes, okay, good. So now we should be able to release this when we get up to this orbit to complete that contract. I don't want to overshoot this because... Haha! Completed. And now we can do this other decoupler. But this says 528 delta V. Even though this says 259. Because we're smacking directly into the moon now, apparently? Okay. Which seems bad. Okay, we're not aiming at... Oh, we need to turn our thing on. Turn the thrust limiter way down. Okay. Those decouplers completely threw off our orbit there. Whoop. Yeah. This is more like it. 200, yeah, 250 is much more like... So does that mean these things are going to be crashing into the moon too? I mean, that'd be convenient, I guess. Let's create SOI change. 1 day. Okay. Let's actually get this temperature from space high over Kerbal because we actually want that. Okay. We're in Mooner SOI. So let's keep that experiment. So that's the thermometer we used. Assuming the temperature of space appears to be quite impossible, measuring the temperature of space, there's no matter around it either hot or cold except the spacecraft and the thermometer itself. It's probably going to give the R&D guy something to think about for a while. Alright. This thing's a little slow to turn, but it's fine. Alright, so we want a... Let's do 1 hour, 30 minutes, I guess. So we did that. We're gonna have that. Whee! Two, one, burn. And shut off. Let's maybe rotate so we can actually see the science stuff that we're doing this time. Deploy goo. Space near the moon. Goo seems less dense. High radiation environment causes a few of the samples to glow. Looks like it'd be fun to paint the rocket with this. Alright. Let's retract all these. Close doors. Close doors. Retract. Log temperature. So we've orbited the moon now. Can close these bay doors since we're done with the sciencing with that. Alright, so as far as landing spots, the rock thing kind of wanted us to be over like Midlands, I think. Which I think is basically just, I mean, that's most of the moon, I think. Be nice if we had a more equatorial orbit, but that's something I can kind of pay more attention to if I need to when I'm actually coming to land. Let's just orbit a few times here. So we are going to lose contact here on the far side. Okay, this also makes it to where we probably are going to be able to land on the light side, which is good. Now, I hope... Yes, okay, good. And we have plenty delta V. Good. $16 minutes to node burn. Just about an 11-second burn. Now, I might cut it off a bit before the end just so we can finesse the end of it here. All right. We're going to land somewhere. Where's Kerbal? There, it's Kerbal. I always like going through SOI exchanges at 1 speed because if you warp through them, they might occasionally screw you over. It's not common, but it will happen. Now we're back in Kerbal orbit. Our periapsis is still the same. Usually that's what might get messed up. Is the periapsis. So we do kind of fly out a little bit farther before we come back in. Now we're coming back in. And we start falling in pretty quickly here. So we have to kind of dial down the time warp as we get closer. And we probably should start thinking about separating and pointing the right way. Let's retract our antennas here so they don't hopefully blow up this time. Where is our... Okay. Not sure what the hell that is. Come on. Thank you. So we're going to be landing somewhere in this vicinity. 20 seconds until atmospheric interface. Ten seconds. We're in the atmosphere. Going 3,180 meters per second and continuing to increase. Still increasing at 3195. 3197. And we're starting to go down, and I should have turned off SAS. Because now I can't. We're still more or less pointed the right way. Slowed to 2,000 meters per second. (1,000 meters per second). We have control back, so we can turn the SAS off. So the atmosphere we can move through the atmosphere based on the wind resistance and not our SAS. We are going to land on land. It looks like we're going to be landing on just plains, grasslands. Which I'm pretty sure we've gotten... Oh, actually, we haven't gotten flying over Kerbal Highlands. Okay, well, I'll keep that pin. Go ahead and pull our chutes at 5,000 meters, or yeah, 5,000 meters. Chutes are fully deployed. Yeah, and I guess these are the rocks. I had seen these before and was like, what are those? I guess highlands. We're technically in the highlands. It's a very flat part of the highlands, apparently. But, yeah, apparently there are these stones, rocks, whatever, that are in the highland biome. And boop. And that contract's completed. We should have science from around Kerbal completed. $422 science earned. That's pretty nice, actually. We have 1.5 million bucks. I don't know why this is still here like that. Science data from surface of the moon. Oh, wait. Those are ones that I already... Okay, explore the moon. We have enough data on the moon to attempt a landing. Or we could stage one. It's up to you. We'd like to bring a vessel back to Kerbal from the surface of the moon. At least one scientist assures us that we won't bring back any harmful contaminants. So we obviously want to do this. Science data from space around the moon. Yes. Geosynchronous orbit. That's actually not too bad. Although I think it's going backwards, which is kind of a weird. Now, is this wanting me to, like, put it in a specific place? Oh my god. Oh yeah, they're, like, weird orbits. They're not equatorial geosynchronous orbits, which is kind of what you would think you would want. We have this again, which is kind of whatever. Okay. Well, so this one hopefully we can do when we land. This one we can do, we might even be able to do this before we land, probably. This is a landing, this is a landing, this is a landing. So, 4 of these 5 ones are ones that we can do when we land. We'll probably do a manned flyby or a manned orbit before we land. Let's see what science stuff we might want to get here. So I want, are these like, no, these are the smaller parts, okay. For the most part. Like the .625 landing engines. These would be good for satellite parts, which we probably do want. Bigger heat shields, which we probably want. Landing legs, we probably want. Yeah, all of these are things that I think we will want. We don't need life support yet. Now here's the other thing. If we want to do like an Apollo style landing, we probably want these parts. The lander can and the command pod. What's here? Ladders. Which would be useful, but... like, I don't think we need those yet. These are all life support things, which I don't think we need yet. These are plain parts. Oh, we need to upgrade our R&D. Okay. So where... where does it say the part size here? Huh. I still don't know what... like, is there a space engine for the 1.8 parts? That's what I don't get. The FLTX series. So, like, the TX must be... this must be... this must be the space engine for that. But again, we don't... okay, so let's... let's think about the planning here, because these are what? 160? So if we could do, like... 2 of these, basically. Or, like, 1 of these and 1 of these. Small parts I think we could pass for now. We do want these sooner rather than later. This would be useful. This would only be 45. Okay, so Whoops. We're going to have to upgrade this, which is expensive, but it will still be over 1 million, which is pretty good. Oh, Kerbal EVAs can collect surface samples. Okay, so that's where we do that. Resource transfer available. I think there was at one point I wanted to do that too. So exactly how long is that going to take? And can I like pre-select these now that we're doing that? No. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop for now. I'm gonna fast forward through all of this. I'm gonna end up buying, I think, the heavier rocketry here. So that would get us down. That's 160. And then I was gonna buy the command modules here. Should be 320. So we would have about 30-ish. Science left, and then I'll see kind of what contracts we get. Hopefully we'll get more like science around, gather science from Kerbins, gather science from the moon, whatever. And I'm gonna actually need to start thinking about what type of lander I want to do, because there are two ways to do that, to land on the moon here. We can do it Apollo style, which means that we have a command pod that stays in orbit and a lander that goes down and then comes back up and docks. Or we could basically do a direct descent where it's just one vehicle. It gets into orbit, we land, we launch, all that stuff. Now, the Apollo style is good because it minimizes the amount of weight you're taking down and coming back up with the moon, from the moon from. Because you're not having to land with and then take off with the fuel that you need to get back from the moon. Because you're going to have, the fuel and whatnot to burn around the moon to get back to, in this case, Kerbin. You're not having to take that fuel down with you and back up. Which means that you can have less fuel on the lander because you weigh less. And all of that. It kind of just starts compounding. Now, the problem here is I don't know if I have, like, a smaller lander. Like, I have the 2-person command pod now. That's a station core. We do have the Mark 1 lander can. I could do a 2-person, potentially a 2-person mission where we use the 2-man command pod and a 1-man lander instead of a 3-man command pod and a 2-man lander. At least to begin with. And that way we can kind of do Apollo style. It kind of makes me wonder, do we have... We do have the Clampetrons. Good, okay. We do have the docking ports. Because this might be a good way of doing it initially. And then maybe expanding to more than one, like a 3-man later. I probably will want to start buying more Kerbals here. Maybe a couple more pilots and another scientist or something, if possible. But that's just something I'm gonna have to figure out figure out later. So that's where I'll leave it off for today. This is a fairly lengthy episode as it is. But thank you for watching, and I hope to see you here next time on Kerbal Space Program.